So now it is that your girls recorded. Let's go ahead. Let's jump into this next damn reaction. Ah, Luisa, shout outs to you, game. And here we are. We're talking about, even though I love Megan Thee Stallion, how Megan Thee Stallion ruined her reputation. Interesting title. So without further ado, y'all, let's get into this next video, y'all. Let's do it.
Megan Thee Stallion was supposed to be a generational talent, and at one point, it seemed like
It still is. Not too much. Still is. Still is. Not too much.
Nicki passed the torch to her when they collaborated. But after the hot girl summer of 2020, a stormy cloud has loomed over her career, leaving people to question if she'll ever reach the potential we once saw in her. And better yet, the fact that she might have run her reputation into the ground, too deep to ever fully recover from. Today I want to explore why it seems like Megan's career is on a decline. What went wrong? And can she ever make a full comeback? While Megan was riding high with 2 #1 hits in a year, with Savage and WAP dominating TikTok and radio alike, a personal drama surfaced that would alter the trajectory of her career. In August of 2020, Megan accused Tory Lanez of shooting her in the foot after a pool party. This revelation shocked fans, as the two had seemed close, with Megan even appearing on Tory's popular quarantine radio show.
Official shot o'clock. Live right here on Quarantine Radio.
Quarantine.
This has just turned into Quarantine Radio in about 5 seconds.
Quarantine.
However, one chaotic night filled with Henny and drama completely flipped the script, and a messy fallout would soon follow. The shooting allegations left Tory Lanez disowned by the industry, and he experienced one of the most severe blackballing instances of this generation. And while he was being severely outcast, Megan now had more supporters behind her than ever, and her career, art, and image were at an all-time high. It started with her claims that she and Tory were not more than just friends.
That you two were dating? What was the nature
We
of
were
your...
not dating. We were really close. We were friends. We hung out like every day. And his mom passed too. So when I felt like we were bonding over that. And
Did you have an intimate relationship with him?
like sexual?
Megan, did you have a sexual relationship with Tory Lanez? Yes, that's my question.
I didn't have a sexual relationship with Tory.
So why do
Okay, here's the thing it is that people like to bring up when it comes down to this. I still to this day, I feel that people hypersexualize Megan's like who she's been with and who, like, behind closed doors and like, or whatever the case may have you. I feel like, why do people care that much? Especially with niggas it is that's probably never gonna even get the chance to even breathe the that the twerking air in the same room as Megan, worried about who it is that she had or has not had sexual intercourse with. I feel like that's gonna be like with a lot of different female rappers, to be honest with you. But I'm not mad at the fact that is that she said it is like, oh no, we wasn't like intimate and stuff like that. I mean, I'm pretty sure it is that her team probably told her not to speak on stuff because of the case that's being open and everything like that. There's such a mystery behind everything, but you can tell it is, from what I could see from Megan. I have been following Megan even her underground days before it is that she got the big old freak era and everything like that. Like, her mom was like an original OG rapper, and it was the reason to why it is that she even started doing this business to begin with. And I believe her mother died from cancer, if I'm not mistaken. So having to lose both parents, grandparent at that, and then now you're in this industry, this doggy dog ass world of an industry called the music industry, and you're around people it is that you think that's gonna have your best interest at heart. They, of course, yes, like you have a label, 1501, that brought you to heights, but then you got to keep going back and suing these people because they ain't trying to pay you the proper money. They trying to regulate on what music you can release, and all these different politics and everything like that. And then you have people around you that's either envious of you, jealous of you, and all that other stuff. Like, it's unfortunate for Megan. So I can see why it is that she collaborated with Tory, because of the fact of like they bonded through trauma, and of course they're both in the music industry. So if they had a sexual relationship, okay, cool, whatever, X, Y, and Z. But I wouldn't say it is like, I'd be in the same thing. It's just like, oh no, we weren't dating. Like we was really close. We was really cool. I would say the same shit, to be honest with you. But it's nobody's business to why, you know what I mean, when it come down to like her sexual past. It really is like, you know.
What do you think he's
Now, of course, we will talk about with her and the Nicki Minaj incident because I have a lot to say about that too, but we'll get back to that.
putting out the story that the two of you had a relationship and that you're making the whole thing up?
I think that he is trying to deflect from the fact that he committed a crime.
In almost no time, people were pointing out the sus nature of her answer and blasting her with comments such as, "The answer was sus. How you gotta think about that? This girl lie way too much." A situation that left Meg wishing that she had just been shot because of the mental turmoil. It would take 2 years to get into the courtroom. Even then, she felt like the public enemy despite being shot at. In an interview, she shared how it seemed like the publicity her situation was getting only made her more and more hated and ended up benefiting Tory at the same time. She also
Like the shit is crazy that she's the one it is that got shot. Although wholeheartedly within my chest to chest, I feel like Kelsey is the one it is that pulled the trigger because again, I've talked about like how people it is that can be very envious that's around you starting out with, and Kelsey just seemed like a very envious type of conniving ass bitch in the background. I just feel that energy that came from her, and I've dealt with something like that before, where you think somebody is your friend, and until it is, you know, like when shit comes to shove and stuff like that. Unfortunately, with us as women or as friends and everything like that, it takes a dude, unfortunately, to make all that crumble. I think personally, yes, Megan probably had Tori upon the roster. She probably had a couple other people as well. You know what I'm saying? Because she do talk about, you know what I'm saying? I ain't making sure that she got them dudes on deck. Cool. But I feel like Kelsey probably got in the mix too, probably got a little bit of feelings and everything like that because Kelsey's now married to and has a child with the same manager of fucking 1501 of Megan's label. So all that stuff to me is sus. If we're looking at the wrong person being sus, like you're gonna talk about Megan Thee Stallion being sus, but no, talk about the people that is that's around her, bro. That my girl Megan was not around the right people in the beginning of this industry, and it shows so wholeheartedly it is that she was getting taken advantage of. As long as it is that she was bringing in checks and making other people money and stuff like that, niggas did not give a fuck about her mental, her being. The fact it is that she got shot, and then now all these other people is I can't stand y'all niggas. It is that be going ahead and say free Tory, free Tory, free Tory. May I add it is that the whole fucking trial was against the state of California versus Tory Lanez. The nigga's not even a U.S. citizen, and he's broken the law, and on top of that too, has broken was it probation? Has broken that shit. It's not she testified with that case with the case, yes, but that wasn't the end all be all, you know, with her case. Even if she did not have testified for that case, he still would have been locked up for the things that is he did. It didn't he pistol whip somebody? Didn't he get into a couple fights and scuffles and stuff like that? That's unrelated to Megan Thee Stallion. Miss me with that bullshit, bro.
also called the industry a big boys club and felt that because she was a woman coming forward about a rapper, other artists started to hate her. Despite the serious struggles she was undergoing, most of the hip hop audience couldn't help but focus on the lies she had been telling. Most notably, she admitted that she actually did sleep with Tory under oath. While the mainstream media might have defended her, others had a hard time trusting anything she was saying beyond that initial fabrication, particularly once her former best friend was even coming at her and shared that Meg had snaked her when she tried to pursue Tory Lanez.
I've expressed all my concerns to you directly, and you know what my issue is. I wasn't your enemy. You made me your enemy. We stopped fucking with each other, but I wasn't your enemy. You made me your enemy. I have every right to get on here and address this.
This issue, on top of
I thought you plead the fifth. You did all this stuff, but then didn't you take a whole plea bargain under oath? Oh, I plead the fifth. I don't remember. Oh, I plead the fifth. This is this. Miss me with that bullshit, Kelsey. You know, Megan's not the only person that is who dealt with something like this. Ice Spice, the Ice Spices herself, had a friend it is that she was with, that also did some very conniving things of exposing text messages and stuff like that. And her frustrations, Ice Spice's frustration was for the label. It wasn't necessarily towards Nicki Minaj, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it before it is that I lose my train of thought when it comes down to this. Let's let's talk about this now. I know it is that yes, Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj did a record of Hot Girl Summer, the anthem, which was fire, together. At the time, Nicki did not want to drink because of the fact she was trying to get pregnant, but the trying to get pregnant with somebody it is who is a registered sex offender is already within question as it is. But she made it a big deal about that of just like, oh, she was trying, like she was being an alcoholic, this, blah, blah, blah. Yes, Megan was drunk during that live stream. I do remember that very vividly. But we gotta call a spade a spade. There's also a Spotify promo that is that's going on as right now that have all of the female rappers, including with the people it is that Nicki Minaj has probably had a beef with, which Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, possibly Lotto. Oh, actually, no, she did beef with Lotto at one point. There's other people that's on there that's like, and people was like, well, how come it is like that's crazy? Like y'all gonna promote all these different female rappers, but Nicki isn't on there. Boop de boop de boop. Da, 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 da. Listen, I'm sorry, I have to say it for all y'all people it is that are barbs, but it is what it is. Nicki is somewhat of a she's not a great person. Musically, she got it. Nobody can able to top her pen. I can say that I can attest to that to somebody that's not really a big fan of Nicki Minaj. Cool. But what I will fucking say it is that she treats other women terrible. She tries to help out people, and yes, I understand there are some women it is that actually snaked Nicki Minaj, but there's some other stuff it is I'm just like I can't co-sign what you do. And may I add, it is with Nicki Minaj is that her fan base are bullies. Her fan base are bullies, and it just proves more and more and more. Like when I reacted to the I think Patrick CC's Nicki Minaj video, I had people in there writing paragraphs, barbs, writing paragraphs of saying it is, oh, I'm only reacting to the stuff it is that makes Nicki Minaj look bad. This is and this. But when are we gonna actually talk about the stuff it is that Nicki Minaj actually does? It is that y'all can't sit there and co-sign. Like the fact that she talked about Megan Thee Stallion's dead mother, and then the Barb community went as far as doxing where it is the resting place for Megan Thee Stallion's mother. I can't co-sign that. Like, no, I'm sorry, I cannot co-sign that for any fucking body. I don't care to and I'm not even taking the fact that this I love Megan Thee Stallion into place here. This is just morally as a human being, I can't fuck with that. So yes, Nicki Minaj is quite toxic to other people within the industry. You can't be beefing with all these different people and say it is like, oh, I'm the mother, I'm the icon. These bitches are my sons. This, and this. You want to talk about somebody ruining a reputation? We need a how Nicki Minaj has ruined her reputation video, and that's just me being honest. I'm sorry.
Major hip-hop media outlets like DJ Academics and Adam 22 with No Jumper fighting in Tory's corner, it seemed like nobody was on board with Megan anymore. And people weren't afraid to take her accusations online, with some people speculating about how often she has been lying and others calling her out for playing the victim. When the trial came to a close, Tory was ultimately found guilty and put behind bars for an entire decade. And while you think this could clean Megan's slate, people continued to conspire against her. The lies that did surface during the whole ordeal opened the Pandora's box that couldn't stop people from questioning every part of the situation, even the verdict.
We
we
do
did react to the
believe
review.
that Meg Thee Stallion was injured that night.
Correct. No question.
The only thing that I'm questioning, did Tory Lanez take a gun out in attempt to shoot this woman, or did something happen where a weapon was fired and Meg was injured?
You're not getting any consistency from any of them.
Facts.
Even Meg.
Facts.
She has been caught lying, and so now that kills your credibility.
Meanwhile, others have been happy just to continue to mock her at every turn, with their audience loving every
And look, but this is the same. Like, I can't stand this nigga. The reason, and I say this wholeheartedly with my chest. I don't mean to be crash when it is that I say this, but academics talks illy, mainly towards women. He does it towards men too, other than Drake. With Drake is just dick sucking, but he wholeheartedly just like at this rate, I want to hold like I'm gonna say this. I don't even think academics really like women like that. I feel like it is like it's one of those things that it is he's trying to be in competition with a fucking woman. That's how I feel towards this. I with my chest, I feel this way towards academics. If it is not Drake or if it's not 6ix9ine, that they're on his knees trying to please them too. It is just being hateful towards others. You know, that's why every chance it is that I get of him being all shocked and everything like that of what Kendrick Lamar does, I get filled with joy. The only thing it is that will top that is Megan Thee Stallion and Kendrick Lamar doing a collab song together. That will be the ultimate level of, oh yeah, yeah. Now we really need to see what this nigga's reaction is, you know?
Every minute of it.
Tory knew you was. Tory was fucking you. By the way, Tory felt you was easy pussy. I'm not speaking for Tory. I'm speaking on everything I've heard about that situation. You was easy pussy. Flying to him, he never had to do nothing.
Megan has continued to explore all the angles of the situation in interviews, tracks, and beyond, laying out the mental turmoil and physical hardship she's had to overcome in the process. But it doesn't seem like many people are tuning in for her side of the story, and the lingering lies only soured her reputation more and more over time. In the summer of 2022, Megan and her team believed that they had a huge hit on their hands, with the tell-all album Traumatized on its way to reveal all of the secrets and drama from the altercation and beyond. But it only peaked at 4th on the Billboard charts, despite being one of the most watched situations in recent hip-hop.
I mean, don't sleep on a number 4. Don't sleep on the number 4 because there's people that can't even get the top 10, bro. Top 50 at that. Let's not sleep on it.
History, and the album wouldn't be certified gold for over a month. What's even more harder to swallow for Megan is the fact that Nicki Minaj's 2009 album, Beam Me Up Scotty, was released the year prior and still outsold her new Raw project by 20k units.
That's because of the fact it is that Nicki Minaj was sitting on that damn album for so long, bro. Niggas was singing Itty Bitty Piggy and there was no release to it. So I can't sit there and say it is. I'm not gonna put that two together because that's not necessarily fair. That was already going to be something it is that was gonna eat because of the fact of like that was like a mixtape drop. That was like you had to find stuff like that on like LimeWire in order to listen to that shit. So I'm not gonna put those two together. That ain't fucking fair. That ain't fair.
This contrast raised questions about Megan's current standing in the music industry.
You're not a superstar if you can't sell albums. Okay. What the f- are we talking about right now? Because what stops her from being a superstar if we taking out sales? She ain't sold, got every brand deal in the world, but also has all the backing from mad different people. She got a lot going on. That's the game today.
If everyone knows that Megan can spit and she's practically a household name, why is she still in a position where you could argue that she's slipping from the top of the game? Well,
I think honestly, a truth really be told, I think it's the label. I think this was probably the last album, if I'm not mistaken, underneath that 1501 label. And during this time, she had to go to court for multiple different court appearances to just release music. They was trying to really just hold on to her music for no damn reason. And she had to fight for that. I'm glad it is that now that like with this new album, it's kind of like the letting everything go to happen to her, a new sense of awakening and stuff like that. I am waiting for that with Cardi B as well. Because this album is kind of coming off as like all right, she's branching into her own, and which I love that for. But during this time, I am gonna say it is that this was a label issue. It wasn't like we all know it is that Megan Thee Stallion can spit. That's one she can freestyle her ass off. That's one of the main things it is I liked about her from like underground days. I'm like, oh wow, she's really talking that. She's talking that power. You know what I mean? But and some people are like, oh well, it's the fact that she's promoting sexual energy. She's just so sexual. She's just so sexual. Yeah, but then we go ahead and we listen to like Lil' Kim, Foxy Brown, Trina, all the other stuff. The sexual stuff within rap has been there since what 90s, and it's been in music historically for years. I could show y'all a sexy red before the sexy red in the 1920s, in the 1930s. Like, what are we talking about here, bro? Like, some of the stuff it is that I hear, I'm just like, y'all, like, music is subjective, but y'all don't understand that stuff of this, like women talking like that or speaking like that, singing like that, rapping like that, has been it's been like documented of like a long time ago. What? Of course, it wasn't in mainstream of like charts and stuff like that. You would have to go to like, the night joints and stuff like that to hear those type of things. But no, they are actual records it is that are out there. There's actual tapes that is out there of that. And I can show y'all some before, you know what I'm saying, before Lil Kim, before Trina, before Foxy Brown, before Nicki Minaj, before Megan Thee Stallion. I can show y'all that, that it's always been there.
So, of course, there's the mistrust that she has built as a liar, whether or not she deserves that title, that is still lingering from the Tory Lanez shooting case.
You said people worried about Megan's sexual history. Is like, what about Nicki or Drake or everybody else that is that they don't pay attention to with them? They just pay attention to Megan Thee Stallion history. Like, why? Like, for instance, I love Rihanna, but that girl Rihanna has had a time. Nicki Minaj has had a time with different people, and also being on the bisexual side. You know what I'm saying? Nicki Minaj has always been kind of a little. Nicki Minaj has always been a little. You know what I'm saying? You can't hide that. That's one thing it is like a Barb can agree with me is the fact that is that Nicki Minaj has been a little bit a bisexual. That's been documented. Megan too, and secretly, allegedly with Rihanna as well. So the level of being hyper focused on who these people are having sex with and who they're being with and stuff like that, I don't give a about that at the end of the day. I really don't. I don't. I really don't. Is it for me? It's just like, all right, cool. Like, can I respect this person as an artist, and can I able to still listen to the music without having to feel like it is like I can't really relate to you, or there's something about with your like how you are as a person where it is I can't rock with you. That's what's more important to me.
There's likely some misogyny at play here as well, which isn't a valid reason to discredit her, but it doesn't change the fact that her public lying spree made other sections of her life more suspect. For example, during the Megan-Nicki beef, a rumor circulated that some Nicki fans plan to dig up Meg's mom's grave. That's a horrifying idea, and nobody would ever condone it. But because it was related to Megan in the first place, Joe Budden decided to speculate and claim this whole thing was planned by Meg. And it was clear that many people were actually taking his side, whether they
as somebody I have not I actually just talked to my mother today. You know what I mean? My mother is about to be 60 in January. Stuff like this makes I'm already at the point to where it is like, y'all, my mother is getting older. You know what I'm saying? Making sure this that my mom is taking care of her health. She's taking care of her health as well. But I probably would not be the same Ari if my mother had passed. I couldn't imagine that level of a pain. I couldn't stomach that. You know what I mean? Either or, if a parent bearing a child or a child bearing a parent, either or, death is not something it is to be joked about. And the way how it is that Megan felt about with her mother and how much of a closeness it is that she's had with her mother. I'm sorry, but you, Joe, that's nasty work. That's nasty work. That is nasty work. I wholeheartedly, with my chest, believe it is that was a Barb community. Barb community, like the Barbs will fly out to a hater that they have an issue with, and they have reportedly, this has been documented of them doxing people. So the fact that Joe Budden has takes where it is just like, all right, I can agree with, and then he has takes where it is just like, I can't co-sign this. He is another one that is like the scuffle with women I don't like.
Good way to get put in the forever box.
Right. And I don't like that. That's even for like for instance, I had a personal death within the family, and that has changed my whole level of perspective ever since 2014. You'll never know that level of pain until it is like you've had a sudden death in the family, within the family. That's not funny in any form of way. That's hard. Oh my God, like that's a pain that I would never want anybody else to go through, let alone it to be a parent. So the fact that we're talking about this is just like, oh, this was planted by Megan. Megan would not do something like this. Like if morally speaking, if it was me or something like that, you think it is that I would want people to know where it is that my parents' resting place is at, and then now you gotta do all this level of security and stuff like that just to make sure it is that people ain't digging up graves and stuff, which is an actual fucking thing that people do. People really do dig up graves and stuff like that. That's like it's people are sick in the head. So the fact that like, uh, uh, Joe, I can't even like, nah, that made me look at you a little different.
They thought this was realistic, or they just felt a similar distaste for Megan.
This is another reason that I'm not mad at the lying on your dead mama line. I believe that that is a Meg publicist somewhere pushing these stories about upping the security at my parade and people are coming here to sabotage it. I think that's a real nasty PR trick. I think that is real nasty. I can see through the publicist stories like that.
Whether these rumors against the Barbs were true, Nicki was painted as a bully, and that may or may not have sent Meg's track Hiss to the #1 spot. If you think that's over speculation, the track died as soon as the drama did, lasting only 6 weeks in the top 100 after hitting the top. That's a rare level of fall off for a track of this caliber. This is why despite all of her success, people continue to frame Meg as a flop. For every fan, there's a hater, and every instance of her shadiness is fuel for argument. Over time, Megan has acknowledged these mistakes she's made in the past and tried to explain the dark place that she was in when they were made.
I feel like it'll be pointless for me to get online and be like, that didn't happen, that's not what it is, because y'all don't want to believe me no way. There was a point in my life where I was so low and I was so sad. I was drinking like a motherfucker. I was turning up. I was doing whatever the fuck I wanted to do. I was definitely outside.
But just as comments like that would have time to do the rounds, you have another scandal or revelation from someone in her personal life. Whether it was her ex-boyfriend Partisan Fontaine claiming she cheated on him even as he was planning to propose, or others ensuring her past behavior still hangs over her.
A lot of what people in the industry have said about you, Meg. When you first came in the game, you was an alcoholic. I don't know what your lifestyle is at currently these days, but you was an alcoholic. You was a woman who used to drink, black out, get drunk, fuck whoever, and then used to be very belligerent and used.
I'm not giving that, like, like people like to go ahead and use this against Megan, but one, I'm gonna excuse this because of the fact that is one, Megan is young. Second, Megan went through personal deaths and a lot of people that was around her that did not have her best interests at heart, and death within family, and then of course using an outlet to escape the reality. Unfortunately, alcohol is one of those things. That is a thing. I'm glad that Megan now has not only used exercising and working out as an outlet. Megan has always had a body on her, so I do not believe the whole, oh, she got lipo thing, this, and this. You could tell it is that girl lost weight. You could see it everywhere. You know what I'm saying? When you get lipo, you can't take out the fat of everywhere of your body. It's only in a particular place. But you could tell from her facial structure that was the weight loss for sure. That was definitely working out and being in the gym. But that girl always had body on her. But I hate the fact that people use that, oh, like she would drink all the time, this, and this. You don't know what somebody's going through in order to put alcohol to like the body anyway, as it is. It's not even just a social thing. It's like the people use it as an outlet sometimes to escape certain things that they're going through. So let's not be too judgmental here.
To be very aggressive. That was the word on you.
Then there have been other strange occurrences in her camp, including a recent scandal involving a cameraman suing her for unfair dismissal.
So Meg the Stallion is being sued. Her former cameraman, Emilio Garcia, see how that rolled off my tongue? He is suing her for allegedly creating a hostile work environment. Emilio claims that back in June 2022, Meg had sex with an unidentified woman right next to him while riding in an SUV during a tour stop in Ibiza, Spain. He also claims that the next morning, Megan told him, never speak on what you saw. And he also said after the incident, Megan's behavior changed. He claimed that he was body shamed, and she called him a fat bitch, and she told him, spit your food out, right? And he claimed.
And while Charlemagne is laughing it up, people started to point out the double standards and how this information was being handled. Just imagine the reaction if a male rapper did this to a female employee. As her negative image continued.
How do we know if this is true or not? Because I know it is like one thing about Miss Megan Pete, she gonna go to court with somebody or whomever at the end of the day. I feel like there is a level of I did hear that there was a level of money. That's the real biggest issue is money. He wanted more money. He wanted more money. That's really the biggest thing. But again, this is also something of NDAs, baby. Get them damn NDAs popping, because saying, oh, never speak this to anybody it is that you saw ain't enough when it comes down to stuff like this. It's all fine and dandy until it is they feel a certain type of way. Then they want to go ahead and speak openly about stuff like this. So let's move forward.
Used to build, whether she truly deserves it or not, Megan is taking a page out of Taylor Swift's playbook and spinning the narrative to her own benefit. When Taylor was beefing with Kim and Kanye, and the Kardashian clan called her a snake, she adopted the label and got her entire fan base on board. So whenever Nicki took a shot at Megan, calling her a disgusting serpent in a flurry of heated tweets, she took it and ran with it. She started dropping tracks like Cobra, Hiss, and Boa, and utilized snake imagery to paint her alleged venomous personality as a strength, not a weakness. Unfortunately for Megan, a lack of replay has left these tracks in the dust. Notably, when Cobra pulled a Humpty Dumpty, dropping 31 chart spots in just 1 week. And Boa left some of her fans wondering if the Stallion had simply run out of creativity at the time. In her sudden struggle to break into the top charts with her usually huge singles, maybe it's not the right time for her to try her hand at independent artistry, but that didn't seem to stop her.
This part of my album is very much funded by Megan Thee Stallion because, you know, we trying to get off. Y'all know what's the tea. But I have no label right now, and we're doing everything. The budget is coming from me. Motherfucking Hot Girl Productions.
I think, honestly, in Megan's case, after what it is she went through, having no label and just having the Warner Brother distribution so she could able to put out her music freely is honestly the smartest thing. After everything it is that she went through with a label and having to fight with 1501 to release music and stuff like that, I think it's best for her to kind of just be able to call the shots within this. I think this is smart, to be honest. Ain't that right, Shadow?
Now free from 1501, Megan will finally be able to get the bag like never before. But that hasn't stopped people wondering if this push to stand on her own 2 feet could be a misstep. And when you consider the recent sales outside of Hiss, you can see their point. In February of 2024, Meg decided that going labelless was perhaps not the wisest choice. So she inked a distribution deal with Warner Music Group that essentially preserved her independence. A huge win for her. Now secure in a great financial deal, Megan is in a unique opportunity. While her public image and record sales are scarily low, it hasn't stopped her from almost selling out her upcoming tour. Over 250,000 people across the US are packing concert venues for her, making it clear that a supportive audience still exists. But we should keep in mind that some reports emerged of her selling the tickets for as low as $24. However, I'm not sure how valid the source is, and that her numbers outside of tour sales aren't exactly promising. So she's gonna have to win back a lot of people to resume her generational.
Who's giving this information out? Because the fact that Megan Thee Stallion has had sold out concerts, bro. Sold out concerts. Louis, I'm starting to think it is you're not a Megan Thee Stallion fan, gang. Because I know that this is something it is a bar would say. Oh, she wasn't selling out no concerts. This isn't it. She definitely was. She was. MC. Yeah. You know, some artists are able to make it out of the water with or without a label. Yeah, and Megan is one of those people.
Run and inherit the crown. For example, as my good friend Halil Yassin reported on Instagram, Spotify allegedly removed 30 million streams from Megan Thee Stallion's album, which many believe was due to her allegedly botting her numbers to make it look like the album was doing better than it actually was. On top of this, she was also exposed by some TikTokers for the fact that there was a bunch of empty seats covered at her concert, despite the fact that it was reportedly a quote-unquote sold-out tour.
Megan Thee Stallion's tour exposed for having empty seats after being reported that it's sold out. No Meg, no Meg, no Meg.
Although some users claim that this is normal for concerts to do, what makes it a bit more weirder is that she was also reportedly giving away free tickets for the seats that people just didn't buy. This makes it look like she's struggling to fill up her concerts. So it's clear to me that something fishy is going on, in my own personal opinion, but that's.
She sold out Atlanta, New York, Baltimore, Houston. I know what the one in Atlanta, there was a bit of an issue with like the plumbing and stuff like that. So that was a bit of a problem. But then she spun the block on Atlanta, you know. So she was there for technically 3 nights. Like, cut this out, bro. Cut this out. Cut this out. Cut this out. Cut this out. Cut this out.
It's just me. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. As always, it's your boy Luesta, and I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one.
You know, this is a very interesting little take it is that you had here, Louisa. You know, ouch. Very interesting take. But nonetheless, still rock with you, gang. I may feel a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Like, the things that happened with her, yeah, it may have been damaging, yes, but to say that it's destroyed, absolutely not. Megan's still soaring. Someone said, academics calling anyone an alcoholic when all he does on stream is body a bottle of Hennessy is his peak irony. Right, right. We shaded rappers for not extorting people. Like, yeah, no shadow. But Luisa, shout outs to you, gang. Thank you so much for the video. Shout outs to y'all in the chat. Shout outs to you at home. I will catch y'all in the next video.